Hello, everybody, wherever you may be in life's journey. I'm glad that you are here with me on Holy Thursday, the first day of the Triduum. Holy Thursday is potentially the most chock full day of the entirety of Holy Week. You have the institution of the Last Supper. You have Jesus's farewell address. You have Jesus washing the feet of his disciples. You have uh, Jesus, uh, uh, Judas actually going and delivering the betrayal of Jesus. You have Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane. You have the disciples fleeing Jesus. You have the beginning of his trial. I mean, it is absolutely full of amazing, rich, deeply moving experiences. And I wish I could share all of them with you. I wish I could spend 3 hours just diving deep into every single element of it. For that type of deep dive, you got to get the book. You got to get Life of Christ to go that far into um, Holy Thursday and all of the different elements that get pulled into it. I mean, even Saint John, the evangelist, the writer of the Gospels, he was like, okay, you guys have all these different elements. I'm going to help color for people who are going to receive the Gospels. I'm going to help color what some of the elements that aren't given in the other Gospels. I'm going to talk about the washing of the feet. I'm going to talk about his final discourse, him being the servant of of servants. So it is really, really rich and really, really deep. And I had to make a really hard choice about what we dive into. And what I chose here is to try and continue the theme that we've been following all throughout the week. And it is to really actually look at where all of this is going, what Jesus is after. Yes, he is after my salvation. Yes, he is after your salvation. He's also after something really, really specific. When we talk about dying so that you may have life, it's not just so that you would have life. It's also so that you would be one with Jesus. What Jesus is longing for is unity with you. He's pushing his chips to the table, beginning to the center of the table, beginning um, on Palm Sunday. He's pushing the envelope. He's forcing a choice, not because he wants to divide the room. He's saying that I am the cornerstone, and you will either be dashed against the cornerstone or it will be the foundation of your life, not because he wants people who reject him to be hurt, but because if Jesus doesn't provide this level of clarity, he can't provide the level of unity that love desires. As Fulton Sheen says, all love craves unity. All love craves oneness, to be unified, to be together, to be of one mind and one spirit. Uh, one of the aspects of Jesus's farewell address that we're not going to get into today is Jesus' call for unity among his followers. Jesus wanted to bring everyone into himself and to be one with them. Jesus wants to be one with you. He wants to be one with me. And so everything we've been talking about has sort of been hidden slightly in this veil of Jesus kind of being a little bit tough, a little bit harsh, a little bit passionate, a lot of it passionate. And it's like, is it just because he wants us to have new life? Is it just because he wants us to save us from our sin? And the answer is no. It is because of those things, but it is also because in entering into our redemption and entering into new life, we become one with him. And he's doing all of this to be one with you, to be unified with you, to be connected to you. So let's dive into what Fulton Sheen is saying. Fulton Sheen calls the Last Supper Jesus instituting his memorial. And that when we go to Mass on Sunday, we are repeating and renewing and prolonging through the centuries the sacrifice offered for the sins of, of the world. And what he examines is he's like, why? He's so curious. I love his curiosity. Why did Jesus use bread and wine as the elements of the memorial? And he gives a couple of reasons. First, because no two substances in nature better symbolize unity than bread and wine. As bread is made from a multiplicity of grains of wheat, and wine is made from a multiplicity of grapes, so the many who believe are one in Jesus. So he uses these elements of nature, wine and bread, because they take a multiplicity of elements into one, into a unified entity. And that's what we're called to do. We're called to be many, many as faithful, many as family, many being together as one, as one, as one, as one. Counted as one, as being a part of Christ. The second, no two substances in nature have to suffer more to become what they are than bread and wine. No two substances have to suffer more to become what they are than bread and wine. Wheat has to pass through the rigors of winter, be ground beneath the calvary of a mill, and then subjected to purging fire before it can become bread. Grapes, in their turn, must be subjected to, let me say that again, grapes in their turn must be subjected to the Gethsemane of a winepress and have their life crushed from them to become wine. Thus do they symbolize the passion and suffering of Christ and the condition of salvation. For Jesus said, unless we die to ourselves, we cannot live in him. We follow the path of the bread and the wine. Here's the third reason. There are no two substances in nature which have more traditionally nourished humanity than bread and wine. In the bringing of these two elements to the altar, humanity is equivalently bringing themselves. When bread and wine are taken or consumed, they are changed into a human's body and blood. But when he took bread and he took wine, he changed them into himself. So just as bread is turned into humanity, humanity is turned into Jesus. And this is again that unity. This is again what Jesus has been longing for. He has been longing for us to be in communion. Communion, as St. John Paul II would talk about. One being, one substance that Jesus wants to bring us into himself. Love craves unity. And Jesus is love. And so he craves unity with you and me. And what he's striving after is that we would become him. We would not just become image bearers of his life and his love, but that we, by passing through our own death, would enter into his very life. Jesus never told anyone, this is what Sheen says in conclusion, Jesus never told anyone to write about his redemption, but he did tell his apostles to renew it, apply it, commemorate it, and prolong it by obeying his orders given at the Last Supper. He wanted the great drama of Calvary to be played not once, but for every age of his own choosing. He wanted humanity not to be readers about his redemption, but actors in it, offering up their own body and their own blood with his in the reenactment of Calvary, saying with him, "This is my body and this is my blood," dying to what was, to live to grace, saying that we care not for the appearance or species of our lives, such as our family relationships, jobs, duties, physical appearances, or talents, but that our intellects, our wills, our substance, all that we truly are would be transformed into Jesus, and that we would become one with him. that the Heavenly Father, looking down on us, would see in me his Son, see my sacrifices masked in Jesus' sacrifice, my mortifications incorporated with his death, so that eventually I might be a sharer in his glory. That the Mass, our experience of the Mass, our remembrance of Jesus every time we go to Mass transforms me into Jesus, that I get lost in Jesus, so that the Father can no longer distinguish between my own mortifications, my own crosses and sufferings and trials, my own efforts to love. He can no longer distinguish that from the life, death, and resurrection of Jesus. That is the highest calling. That is what beckons us forth every day, to keep trying, to keep persevering in the effort to do and be good, no matter how hard it is. It is a call to be one with Jesus and to be as he is, full of love. I pray that we each experience that in this life. I want you to reflect on this Holy Thursday about how much, how deeply Jesus longs to be unified, to be one with you. May God bless you, and may you always remember that you were made to do hard things.